celebrity death match. I have a fundamental problem with the question that we're being asked to address this evening, and the question is do we cut education and public services, or do we raise revenues? I think therein lies a false argument with the assumption that we must raise revenue to provide adequate public service and education in the state. I believe that we don't. I believe that we can cut costs and we can provide appropriate public service and education in our state. When you consider that New Mexico, in terms of employment, has nearing 50% when you count federal, state, local workers working for government, I think there is a fundamental problem there, that we ought to be able to be providing our educational services, providing healthcare services in a more efficient way. I had an argument the other day with Zeke Emanuel, who is the President of the United States' policy advisor on the National Health Care Plan. And he was trying to convince me that the way we address our health care services is that we must all have quality health insurance provided and mandated by the federal government. And my argument to him is, why are we creating a new federal program, a new bureaucracy that costs us tens of billions of dollars, when we have programs in our states that can already provide these services, these important services, but they're not working because they're inefficiently managed? When you go into an emergency room for a cut on your finger and pay $200 for a Band-Aid, I think there's a problem there. And so when we look at the kinds of services that we're providing in our state, whether they be health care, whether they be education, I would argue that we can do better by providing those services in a more efficient way. The cost of educating our children has gone up year after year after year, and yet our performance is lower and lower and lower. Something in my mind is wrong with that picture. If the private sector can figure out a way to do more with less in the last 2 years as our economy has declined, including my company, why then can the public sector not do the same? It is an important question, and should we be raising revenues to continue the existence of what I would view as a welfare state, where we're simply hiring people and more people and more people, or are we considering the kind of service that we need to deliver? So in my mind, what we ought to be talking about is not, do we need to raise revenue so we can provide more services, but how can we as a people in this state, and how can our state government find ways to provide those services in a far more efficient and far more effective manner? I'll leave the data to my colleagues here. Thank you.